Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Shape Your Story. I'm here with Lisa. Lisa, how's it going?
Great. Can't wait to do this.
All right, so what are we going to learn today?
All right. So we've already talked about things you can make with circles and things you can make with squares. And I keep getting the question, well, what about triangles? Because that's the other big major shape. Frankly, triangles, I don't use them very much, but they do come in handy for certain things. So I'm going to show you a couple of things that you can do with triangles, both to add on to what you already know and to make some new things that you can use in your work.
Awesome. Let's get started.
All right. So let me move to my table here, where I have onto the Logitech Reach. And so, triangles are very, depends on the angle you put them at. So if I do something like this, I'm going to have you draw along with me later, but I just do something like this. If I put a stick on it, now I have a flag, and a flag might symbolize you might be on top of the mountain, which means that you have some kind of victory or something. You can write something in the flag, like we are number one. If you just do a flag like this and you put a hole around it, now you're on a golf course, but that's usually not very handy. But a flag can mean a goal, a victory, or something like that, which is great.
Yeah.
If you do a triangle that looks like that, you can do it as a road sign. And if you put like a exclamation point in the middle, now that means like watch out or danger or here's an important point. So these are impactful and anybody can do it, right? So even if you're just doing a flip chart, like imagine this is a flip chart, and you had different things on the agenda, but then one of them was this. That's like pitfalls. Watch out for this thing, right? So that's kind of what that means to me. The other small thing you can do with triangles is it can add on to other things. Like if I add, here's two kind of rectangular objects. We don't know what they are yet. They're just rectangles. But if I add a triangular shape in here, we've already done this when we did rectangles, but suddenly that's an envelope, right? Which could mean snail mail, it could mean a message, it could mean email, obviously.
Right.
And if I made this one a little bit too close, I'll just put it down here. If I make here's another rectangle / square. If I put a triangle on top, that's like the universal, house. Like a 5-year-old would draw a house like this, right? You don't have to put in all the windows and the doors, but you could. But if you put a triangle on top of a square, it basically says house to me, right?
You're talking about a 5-year-old, and I'm thinking, me myself as an adult, I draw my houses like that. So.
Well, you know what? If you go into a room this is actually a really good exercise. If you go into a room and you ask people, draw a house, everybody's going to draw something that looks like this.
Right.
But if you ask them, draw a place where people might live, they might draw an apartment building, they might draw a desert island, they might draw, so it's an interesting little kind of creative thing. So those are things that you can do with triangles. I'm wondering if I put a triangle right here, like suddenly it's sort of like this can be like a picture frame or a note card that's open or something like that, or a place card. If I put a square in here, now I've got like a picture frame that might be sitting on my desk with pictures of my family in it, which that could, and I'm only doing that because I created that square and I didn't have anything to put on it. But see, these are things you can do with triangles. Like I said, there are very few. If I wanted to do something like this, now I've got sort of I've got a tent. I'm not sure why you would care to do that, if you wanted to talk about camping or something.
Definitely.
Right? But I think the most important uses of triangles for me, because they're unusual, are things like flags and road signs and things that make you kind of like interrupt you and make you go, stop. This is important. Here's a point that we want to make about something.
The first thing I thought about was a chip, like a Dorito chip. And the second thing I thought about was Angry Birds, because I think a couple of the Angry Birds are a triangle shape, essentially, right?
Oh well, yeah. I mean, you can make anything out of anything. You could decide that you wanted to make this into a bird, or you wanted to something with this. You could do that, and yes, if you wanted to talk about chips and salsa or something like that, I'm not sure why you would be drawing that, but you could. Obviously a pie chart has triangles in it,
Right.
and that matters, like, because you're talking about this one piece out of a out of a larger piece. So, in fact, you might do it like this, where you cut out the triangle and then you've got it sort of sticking out, and you're making a point of like, well, a quarter of this, is given over to this specific thing. But these, like I said, you're not really making anything out of the triangle there. You're just using it as a kind of a piece of information. Right?
That looks like Pac-Man eating a slice of a pie.
It does. I was thinking that too, but I didn't want to date myself because I spent my entire college years playing Pac-Man.
And that one guy in the upper left-hand corner with the triangle with legs, it's just like a Dorito on the run or something like that. It's just
Here. Now he's got a. Oh yeah, actually, another good use of a triangle, is a martini.
Oh, of course.
So,
definitely need one of those.
Now. Yeah, that. But actually, what that means is, meet us for drinks, cocktail hour, happy hour, party, and things like that. So you could have also, if you do something like that, now you have sort of a party hat and things. So it's like I say, there are more things you can make with them, but they're not really as useful to me as circles and rectangles for most things at work, right? They're mostly additions. Yeah. However, now here's something that maybe you're going to want to try with me, and this is something where triangles come in handy. Is a specific drawing that we'll see a lot of in design thinking workshops. So we talked about this a little bit before we came on. It's the sailboat exercise. Have you done this one before, Nathan?
Someone just did it, but let's do it because I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. So here's how this looks most of the time. And you would probably see this if you were in a workshop with people, either in a room with a big whiteboard on it, or if you were in a online whiteboarding environment like Miro or Mural, or the kind of whiteboards that come within meeting software. But you have usually you have a stick like this that's meant to be kind of a mast of the ship, and then you have something like this. So you've got a triangle like on a stick, but this stick is meant to be like the mast of the sailboat. And then you've got kind of the bottom part of the sailboat, which is another triangle. But see, now it kind of looks like a sailboat. You've got the sail, you've got the boat, and then you've got the water, right? An important part of this picture is this could be complicated to draw. It's kind of like the anchor. So I'm going to do it as simple as possible, where it's just, it's just a stick with a circle on it and like a U shape on the bottom and a couple little arrows. So now you have an anchor there. So what you have is a triangle, another triangle, the water line, and then, I'll show you how I made that again, just so you can see it. So I just made up, the rope coming down.
Mm-hmm.
I made a little circle. Then I made more like the same line as the rope coming down. And then I went kind of like,
smile,
like just like a smile, and then little points on the end. And you see you have an anchor, right?
Makes sense.
Yeah. So the way this works in a design thinking workshop is it's usually one of the first things you do, and the group will be asked to do sticky notes that would end up all the way around here on top. And that would be like, what's the wind in our sails? So, I'll even write that down. What's the
Headwinds,
wind?
Tailwinds.
No, it's actually good. It's supposed to be a good thing. Like, what's driving us forward? What's the wind in our sails, right? I'm just drawing this right now, but this is where people would put their sticky notes, and this would be the notes about up here would all be good things, like our team is doing great at this, and we achieved this goal, and we're really great at this specific skill, and we have a great culture, and all these other things. So this is all meant to make you feel good, and actually nothing happens with any of this good stuff after. It's just there to kind of make the team focus on the positive, because what you're going to do next is go under the water near the anchor and say, okay, now what's holding us back, right? And this is where you're going to start to talk about problems, right? So then people would put sticky notes in about like, well, we don't have budget, or we have conflict, or we have, silos at our company or something like that.
Right. Right.
And then so now you have a picture where it's like, okay, we have good stuff, we've got challenges, and now what would happen next in the way I do it, where I've been trained to do it, is we would all vote on which of these are the most challenging, and then we would move whichever one was the kind of the winner of like what this is that maybe these two turned out to be like the biggest challenges, and then we would move that over to maybe like we would move that over to oh, I know what happens next. We would create some kind of a problem statement, like this is a problem and this is a problem. But then instead of saying, oh, well, we have silos and we have a low budget, we would turn that into a how might we question. How might we bridge the gaps between the silos in our company? How might we do more on a lower budget, or figure out ways to save money or increase our budget? And then people would brainstorm about those things. And then from there, what you would do would be to take the ideas from there, vote on them, put them on an effort impact scale, and decide which ones to do now, to do later, to turn into projects, or to just not worth doing.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
No, that's pretty cool. So I've got my desk showing.
Do you want me to go back to my picture?
Yeah, sure. I need something to copy, Lisa.
Yeah. So the first thing I did was this triangle here. It's almost like the number 4, but you didn't put this part in.
Oh.
See what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
And my pen is terrible, so sorry. I should have gotten a
That's okay. Yeah. So then you have a little stick going down, a little bit more of a stick going down on this side.
Okay. Because that's the mast.
That's the mast, right? Yeah. Now you do another triangle, but with like a long one. Yeah. There you go.
I mean, clearly, it's not exactly a triangle, but
I made mine a little bit like heavier in the back, but that's okay. Yeah, and then you put some water. Now all of a sudden it reads. It reads as a sailboat. I get what it is. And now you do the anchor. You pretty much do it any way you want, as long as it reads as an anchor. So yeah, so you did it. So this is, the little points on the end really matter to make it into an anchor.
Yeah.
And the only reason that the anchor matters is that, like, that's just the thing that's holding us back. This is the thing that's slowing us down, right? And so when you lead the discussion, you would always start with what's the wind in our sails, and then you would get people feeling good about all of the assets that they have, because it makes you more resourceful when you're surfacing the challenges, and it's not just a big wine fest of complaints. The whole meeting. And then you decide which ones are most important. You vote on that, or somebody is a decider, and then you turn these problems into how might we, so which already makes it more positive. We have bad communication between our departments and silos. How might we bridge those silos? And that's when you start to brainstorm those things. I don't have a drawing for that right now, but because we're talking about the sailboat today. But that sailboat exercise, I see it all the time. It's very helpful.
No, absolutely. No, so the other thing we had did was like the sign. I think the sign would be very useful, actually.
Oh yeah, this.
Right.
I mean, this is the easiest thing in the world to draw, and it's easy. It's much easier to draw than a stop sign. And a stop sign means stop. This means pay attention. It could be good or bad, but most of the time it's bad. Yeah. Here's what you need to do. This, and this. But watch out for this. This is like, note that this might happen. Keep an eye out for this. Pay attention. So that is helpful, and anybody can draw it.
And then my favorite is the guy with the hands and the legs. I don't know where I'd use that, but I feel like that's something I'm going to figure out how to incorporate.
I don't really know Angry Birds well enough to draw you Angry Birds, so that's why
we might also have a copyright violation, so I don't necessarily want to do that.
Just as well, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's great. That's awesome.
All right. So the other thing that you can do with the triangles that I forgot to mention is, this is the simplest thing in the world, is if you want to show something like declining, like you've got you draw an arrow like this. It's like this is going downhill. Something that's going downhill. I can also do it like this, where it's like, this is like this rock falling downhill. It's the same thing with something going uphill. You might have something, where it's like you just basically draw like, oh, there's an incline, You could also draw it like remember we talked about people. We could have a star person, they have to climb this mountain. And the idea is, this is a struggle. Of course, up at the top, there's another triangle with the place he's trying to reach. So yeah, the benefit of the triangle here is basically just this angle, the angle either going down or going up. I mean, there's other ways of doing that too. You can also just do without a triangle. You could do like a stock chart. The idea of something going up or going down. That's also very easy to draw.
Yeah.
But so those were a couple of things I meant to mention that didn't come in before. So there you have it. How to use triangles in how to shape your story at work.
That's pretty cool. And like I said, I think I'm going to try to figure out how to incorporate the Dorito Man.
Dorito Man.
It's kind of cute. I don't know why, but it is. But I also like the last part, what you said, in terms of the declining, the going uphill part, rolling down the hill. Is it going to be a breeze? Yeah. There's just so many different ways you can kind of incorporate. So it's really cool.
Right. But I want to say one more thing. What you said about the little guy with the feet and hands. Anything that you add feet and hands to and a face to can be a character.
That's
so true. Just because we tried, I showed you like people before doesn't mean you couldn't turn almost anything into a sort of a human type object. And I love that you did that.
Awesome. Well, that's another great episode, Lisa. Thank you so much. All right. So folks, that is another episode of Shape Your Story. Join us next time.
Bye.